my name is Shannon Chestnut and I'm part of Lambert High School FCCLA. I'm a level 3 and today I'll be presenting on kitchen ratios. So what are kitchen ratios? Kitchen ratios are the basis for a lot of cooking and recipes, and they are measured in parts. And these parts can be measured in weight or cups, and that's what makes them so great, is that they're so versatile in that way of measurement. So the benefits of kitchen ratios are they allow for more creativity in the kitchen, and they also allow for easy adjustments and recipe creation itself. And also, knowing one kitchen ratio opens the door up for you knowing thousands of different recipes. So baking ratios are the most important, truly, to know, because they're the most beneficial, because baking is a science, and if you don't use the correct ratios, then your dish won't turn out the way that it's intended to. And so knowing these ratios is super important for that. And I have some examples here, like pound cake is equal parts flour, eggs, fat, and sugar. And this is an image that I decided to put in my presentation because it's super important. It's essentially a compass in the baking world, and it organizes a bunch of different kitchen ratios, and it shows them all in their parts in a very organized way. So these are the flavor bases for French and Cajun cooking. It's mirepoix, the Holy Trinity, and roux. And roux is a 1-to-1 ratio, but in a lot of recipes, it'll show it in cups, and the flour is a bit more than the oil. And that's because roux is actually measured in weight to be more effective and accurate in the dish. So it appears that there's excess flour because it's actually measured in weight, so the excess flour makes up for the weight of the oil. And then the mirepoix is 1 part onion to 2 parts onion to 1 part celery to 1 part carrot. And the Holy Trinity is 1 part onion to 1 part green bell pepper to 1 part celery. And another example of kitchen ratios is the amount per unit of weight. And in this example, I used shrimp per pound of weight, because on a bag of shrimp, normally when you buy it, if you buy them frozen, it'll show like the amount of shrimp in the pound. And that's really important to recognize, because some recipes call for like bigger items in them, and you need to make sure that you take that into account when you're purchasing. And I also created a recipe with all of the information that I learned to prove how simple kitchen ratios are to use in recipe development. So I made an apple cinnamon pancake recipe, and the pancake ratio is 2 parts flour to 2 parts liquid to 1 part eggs to half a part of sugar. So I used 1 cup of flour, and then 3/4 of a cup of milk, and 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil for the liquid. And then I used 1 egg and then 1/4 of a cup of applesauce to replace 1 egg because they are interchangeable. And so I thought that was important because it adds flavor, but it also replaces one of those eggs. And then I also used 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and I determined how much of that to use, because you should be using 1 teaspoon to 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder per cup of flour. And now I'm going to be moving on to the evaluator questions. So the first one is, what is one skill that you learned and improved upon during your project that you will be using next year for your future career? And I learned how important kitchen ratios can be on how accurate they make a recipe. And so I think that's really important to use in my future culinary career and to use in my craft. And then the second question is, what obstacles caused challenges in your work and how did you address them? I definitely faced challenges picking the right and most effective kitchen ratios, because there's ratios all over the kitchen, and I thought it was important to present the ones that were the most effective and would be the best to use. Thank you for your time.